Hello. It's late May and the weather forecast for the next 2 weeks or so is finally showing no rain and some warm sunshine. It's been a very cold and wet year so far, so I thought now might be a good time to plant out some sweet corn and also to plant out some French beans, and also I'll show you about mounding up the potatoes that I planted in video 14. This is the bed I've got ready for the sweet corn. It's got the usual cover of recyclable black plastic over it, which will be used for sweet corn again and again. It happens to be new this year because I haven't grown sweet corn for a few years, but I thought I'd do it again this year. Put a bit of organic fertilizer into the ground. The spacings that they talk about on the internet for sweet corn are actually quite variable, and I think they're looking more at sort of commercial spacings. Clearly, when you're in a garden, you want to have the spacings as close together as you'll get away with. I've spaced these holes at about 30 centimetres one way and 40 centimetres another, which will be fine. They don't want to be too far apart because sweet corn are pollinated by the wind, and so they need to be in blocks so they can self-pollinate. But that puts about 30 plants on this plot, which will produce a nice amount of sweet corn. They will all have to be harvested at more or less the same time. The harvesting window for sweet corns is quite short, but they do freeze. Now the ones I'm going to put in are called Northern Extra Sweet, so I'll just show you how I do that. I'm going to plant them about an inch deep, 3 at each location, and then I'll pick the strongest plant when they start to develop. They're very good value sweet corn. They freeze absolutely brilliantly. Even when they've been in the freezer for a year, they still taste like they've just been picked off the plant. Right, that's that one planted. I'm now going to plant a few dwarf French beans in this small area here next to where the parsnips are starting to grow up quite well. The spacings I'm going to use for these are about 30 centimetres a foot between each. The variety I'm going to use is called Slenderette. I'm going to plant these dwarf French beans in exactly the same way I planted the sweet corn, about an inch deep. It says on the packets often to plant them 2 inches deep, but it seems to me that's an awfully long way for a little seedling to battle up to the surface, and by planting them a little more shallowly than is recommended on the packet, I've not had any noticeable problem with them. That's that planted. These are the potatoes I planted in video 14. I'm just going to mound them up, just cover them in compost so they'll develop more tubers as they come up to the new surface of the soil. And finally, for the sweet corn, the potatoes and the dwarf French beans, I'm just going to give them a drop of rainwater to help settle them in. Thank you very much for watching.